from the trans community. I worship a God who, in the Bible, describes himself as both male and female. I worship a God who creates people, who created people to be black and white and brown and yellow, who created people to be gay and straight and lesbian and bi and transgender, who created people to be in unity with one another, not in opposition to one another. The church must raise its voice, and the people of God must raise their voices to say that all of those who have been harmed are now welcome to our family. We must raise our voices to say no longer will we sit by as our trans brothers and sisters suffer in silence. We must be the ones who demand that the media begin to cover meaningfully, daily, and purposefully what is going on within the trans community. It is incumbent upon me, a white guy, straight guy, cisgendered guy, to stand up and say, I will use my position of power and privilege in this community to demand justice and to demand equality. I consider it an honor to walk beside this group and to be partnered with this group, to listen to their needs and to follow their lead wherever it may go. My role as one who participates with this group is not to tell them what they need, but to listen to what they need and then to help them achieve their goals. And I invite you to be a part of that journey as well. Let tonight be just the beginning, not the end, of our recognition that justice demands action. And if you have friends and neighbors and brothers and sisters and parents who are part of the religious community, hold them accountable for their harmful interpretations and abuse of Scripture. And when they revolt against that, tell them Pastor Larry said they're wrong.
Thank you. Give it up for Dr. Larry Green. Our next guest speaker, she is an advocate. She's also a peer navigator and a counselor and a healer. Give a round of applause for Ms. Angela Hunt.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Angela Zanaya Hunt. I'll say that one more time. My name is Angela Zanaya Hunt. At this time, I ask you to speak my name. Don't wait till I'm gone. Speak my name now so that my brothers and sisters do not have to speak my name in remembrance. We do not deserve to die. We do not deserve to be taken from this world simply because you don't understand me. Ask me. I'll tell you everything about me. Ask me. I'll tell you what you can do to help me. Ask me. I'll educate you on everything about me and for me. So I say it once again. Speak my name now, so that my brothers and sisters do not have to speak my name when I'm gone. My name is Angela Zanaya Hunt, and I am a proud trans woman who advocates across the nation for all trans and non-binary lives. We all deserve to live our lives authentically, fully, completely. So when you see your friends tomorrow, ask them to speak your name. Ask your neighbor to ask you questions about you. Encourage your doctors to ask what can they do to better serve you. And encourage everyone to speak your names now. We can no longer wait until the end. We can no longer wait until we're in the grounds to have our names spoken. We are leaders, we are advocates, and we are survivors, and we will not be erased. Thank you.
A round of applause for Ms. Angela Hunt. Our next guest speaker, she is known as the Mouth of the South and the Executive Director of We Exist. A round of applause for Ms. Shasha Davis. A round of applause.
Hey, babe. How y'all feeling today? Y'all all right? Y'all all right? This is a beautiful thing. How many of y'all believe that Black Lives Matter? Let me hear you say it. Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter. And we believe that. And if we believe that, then we must include our transgender and our LGBTQ community, because if you can't love the entire black community, then you are doing a huge injustice and inservice to us all. Does that make sense? So, on the count of three, I want y'all to say, trans lives matter. Trans lives matter. Oh, the candle matters too. Why y'all didn't tell me this was down here? Hey. So, y'all look a little, I want y'all to get a little excited about today, because this isn't a normal thing. Ain't nobody around me, so I'm going to take this down for just a second, okay? Because we socially distanced, and it's getting in my way. Is that okay? Y'all all right with that? Don't tell. Okay. So, this is the exciting thing that's going on today. This is historic that's going on today. This doesn't happen every day. Not every day do you get a host of individuals that have been segregated, that have been kicked down, that have been beaten, that have been killed in the streets, their names not being said, and still be able to stand. So what I would like you all to do is give a round of applause for the transgender community that was unafraid to stand today, despite all of the things that they have to deal with, despite all of the dangers that they have to face in their lives, just for being their authentic selves. So I want y'all to give a huge round of applause and clap and scream for the transgender community that felt safe enough to come in your presence today. So we must keep them safe today while they're in our presence. And when they're not in our presence, we must continue to keep them safe. We must speak up in spaces that are uncomfortable. We must speak up in spaces that they don't normally come up in. So if you have that privilege to be in a space where you can speak up for somebody that may not have a voice, that's your job. So if you take anything from this today, take on the responsibility that if you have the option of being in the room, because sometimes I'm looking at a lot of faces out here, and a lot of times you all have the ability to be in rooms that we cannot. And if you have those opportunities to be inside of those places, don't just get one of us and bring us along for the benefits. Bring us along to benefit us so we can benefit our communities, because we need help. We need help. For the most part, we've been communicating and saving each other. This is history being made because now we have people that want to step in and want to help us. If you want to know how you can help us, ask us. Don't assume. Don't assume. Because nobody knows better what the needs are of our community than us. We are the experts. So I encourage you to trust the experts. Encourage you to continue to come out to these events. Go live. Make them go viral. Make everyone see that this is a community that is refusing to sit down. They will continue to stand, and we will continue to stand with them. Where are all the allies at in the building? Allies for the LGBTQ community. 2 times for the allies. We love you all. But what we need you to do is stand in the forefront with us sometimes and be there for us when we need you to talk out in those spaces that we may not have voices in. Can we get everybody to do that? Can we get a commitment today to stand behind your black transgender community and recognize that sometimes they get left in the gaps? Sometimes their names are not said. I want to have a special moment of silence right now for Tony McDade, whose life was taken by the police not only hours after George was also murdered by the police, But we also want to recognize the transgender lives that have been taken for years and years and years in silence. And we break that silence today. So instead of having a moment of silence, I want you to celebrate the lives that have been here before by a round of applause, screams, claps. DJ, can we get a little music? Because it's a celebration. We're going to celebrate life, and we're going to continue to stand for those that can't stand any longer and for those that are no longer here. DJ, we get a little music. We're going to crank it up a little bit. What we got next on the program? Right now, we just going to have a moment for those that are here. We're going to wave our hands. We're going to clap. Just a little moment. We're going to just get crunk just a little bit for the ones that aren't here anymore. For the ones that just wanted to dance. One time for the Post survivors. And those 49 that were killed at Post. 10 of which were African American as well. We want to shout out for all of those that just wanted to dance. That just wanted to live. Y'all must have never been to a cha-cha party before. Y'all couldn't have never been to a cha-cha party before, so we're going to rejoice and celebrate the lives that are no longer here. We're going to rejoice and celebrate them because they are here to celebrate for themselves. All right? We just going to two-step a little bit. Clap your hands, clap your hands, clap your hands, clap your hands. Say trans lives matter. Trans lives matter. Black lives matter. All black lives matter. Trans lives matter. Trans lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Trans lives matter. I'm going to give it back over to your host, but y'all keep that same energy because we need to continue to celebrate those lives that are here. We need to continue to speak up for them, and we need to continue to keep those safe that are still here with us. Can we do that? All right. Ain't no party like a cha-cha party. I tell you. We're going to turn up a little bit, because I see y'all was looking a little down. We're going to turn up for those, and I'm going to hand it back over to y'all hosts. Thank y'all so much for being out here today. Thank you, Unspoken Treasures, for doing this. Thank all of the guests for being on stage and everybody that showed up today. Y'all keep it going. Y'all keep it moving. This is the beginning, okay? This is the beginning. We're going to keep it going, okay? We're going to go to Washington. We going back to Washington? We going back to Washington. Give it up for Cha-Cha Davis!
All right. At this time, we're going to move along. We're going to move into this next individual I've known for almost all my life, and she is a pillar in our community, and she is an icon in the trans community. She's a phenomenal entertainer. A round of applause for Renee Evans. Applause.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. How y'all doing? I said, how y'all doing? It took a lot to get my big ass out in the sun. So y'all got to cooperate. I think I'm here because it gives me pleasure to look out and see all of you. And even more pleasure to look back here and see my nieces who have accomplished something that at my age I could not do. If I stood here on these steps dressed as I am, back in the days when I started, I would be arrested. I would be ridiculed, and I would be arrested. So, give these young ladies a nice round of applause for maintaining. Regina, you've done a wonderful, wonderful job. Wonderful job. You know, we have a whole bunch of trans people here now, but what we don't have are the people that started with me. I think I'm the last of a dying breed here in Gainesville. But Gainesville has always had a huge trans community. And I'd like to speak the name of those that are no longer here. You don't have to repeat it, because it's a pretty lengthy list. And I'm going to start with my drag mother, Tony Martell. You can clap. Erica Fox. feel okay. Vanessa St. James, Lachey Michael, and those of us that started that are still here are myself, Tiffany Ross, you can keep that, Tiffany Ross, Margot Hart, Debbie Foster, Penny Holiday, Diane Adams, Anne Marie, Leslie Tyrone, and Kelly Summers. That was my family. That was my go-to because times were hard. Times were rough. You had an address and didn't have them Fruit of the Loom, you're going to jail. It was horrible, horrible for us in the beginning. And to stand here and see how far we as a community has come, that deserves a lot of applause for yourself. Because you've done it. They've done it. Something that I could not do. I'm damn near 60 years old, and I stand here today proudly representing the community which I have been a part of for over 40 years. 40 years. And that's not counting the years that I did it in secret. That's just my stick around years. But I've been here, I'm back. I've been an advocate for the HIV community with Ms. Teresa McCarter for over 15 years. We've got a lot of work accomplished with her. Due to my health now, I'm not on dialysis, but I keep on fighting. Every day is a fight for me. Every day is a fight for me. But I thank God that I'm here. I thank God for Regina for asking me to speak. And I love each and every one of you. Keep up your support, because if you don't support, no one supports. You keep it going. You keep it going. You keep talking. You must be got an oxygen tank back there somewhere. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll keep talking. It's no problem for me. But I'm going to just tell you, back, I'll give you a little history. When we started, our safe place were private nightclubs. Nightclubs was the place to go. Oh, Jesus. It's concrete, ain't nothing gonna burn. We can just, hey, thank you, Jesus. Nightclubs were our safe haven. And the very first nightclub here in Gainesville was called the Melody Club. It was owned by a wonderful man named just Leo Hilliard. And if you ever wanted to just get into that and go hang out and be around your community, that was the place to go. It seems that now we don't really have a safe haven, a place to go, because there's so much violence. You know, you're trying to find somewhere to go and gather, and people want to protest against you. People want to ridicule you and talk about you. But you know what I say to that? To hell with them. That's what I say to that. You know? Like I said, I'm almost 60 years old, so I've got a life that it just doesn't matter what they say about me. Anything you got to say about me has already been said. Anything you need to do has already been done. I am proud to be me. I am always going to be me. Nothing can take that. Nothing can take that away from me. And you should never let anybody take anything away from you. If that is your dream to be the person that you long to be, the person that is inside of you that wishes to come out, baby, by all means, like John Ross say, come on out. Come on out. You got a community here now that will support you. You got a community here now that is behind you. You have a group here, the Unspoken Treasure. We were just speaking last night that when Regina first started the group, she had a lot of doubt. Even I doubted. I was like, oh, she's just talking. And now it's been what? Almost 2 years? Almost 2 years! And look where she is now. At the steps of City Hall. At the steps of City Hall. But then I think I've done my part. I just wanted you to know that there was a community that's always been here, and those girls are no longer here. They're gone to glory. But there's still a few of us that are left. And I was hoping that my other sisters that could be here. Oh, and I forgot Lady Katrina. She's still here too. I almost forgot her, honey. If she saw that, I'd catch it all in Spanish. I wouldn't understand any of it, but I know she'd be cussing me out. So, at this time, as I slowly fall faint. You ready? Ooh. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you for being here. God bless you.
Give it up for Renee Evans. And moving along, we're going to bring up one of our collaborating partners for Unspoken Treasure Society. Let's give it up for Teresa. Give her Teresa applause. Come on, beautiful. How's everybody? All right, let's have church. Because you know what? I didn't come here out in this heat just to watch y'all stand around. Let me tell y'all something. I'm an ally. And this should have been packed. Because I'm going to tell you right now, for those of you, and I come from the Christian side, I love the Lord, but I love people. And if we love people, we love them. Okay? We have got to love people. Period. I'm so thankful that there's not one stupid person on any corner with a stupid sign with something stupid, because I would have went over there and ripped that sign up and showed out, and then I would have had to go home and repent, because I can't stand for it. Thank you, brother, for bringing out the sign that says Black Pain Matters. Because pain is what these wonderful people have been suffering for years. Some of them have been hiding. But you know what? They're not hiding. We were talking about this last night. They're not hiding. They are in your families. They are in your community. They are here. And they're no longer afraid to stand up in front and center to be dressed the way that they like to be dressed. I'm so thankful to see my sister in my earrings that I gave her last night. I will hand over some jewelry in a minute. If you ask me for my earrings, I will give them to you. I don't care who you are. I've given away a lot of jewelry, but the fact of the matter is, for 18 years, I worked for the Florida Department of Health. Some of you may remember my loud mouth from when I worked in the world of HIV and AIDS, but you know what? Now I'm an ally in the community, and I can say what the hell I want to say, because I'm not a public health official anymore, because I can promote what I want to say, because when you work for the state, it's all politically correct, right? But you know, one of the things that really, really I hated about this community was we did not have a trans-only agency. And I can now say that we have a trans agency that is focused on this particular community, that is being ostracized heavier, that is being discriminated heavier, that is being killed in numbers, and no one is doing anything about it. And when we look at the STD and HIV rates, they are not coming out to get tested. But you know what? You can come and get tested for HIV with me or with Regina, and we are now becoming a test site. And I had to fight to get that test site because the state over here told them that they're not doing site visits. This is Corona, people. We have to be a test site. It took for me to email Tallahassee to get that state health department down the road to come and do a site visit. We have to fight for what we need and deserve from public health officials. When the state police is not doing what they need to be doing when it comes to a sincere and honest and civil arrest, we need to speak up. Nobody should be treated like an animal. Nobody should be ignored when it comes to an arrest. An arrest needs to be made with dignity, and it needs to be heard. Not when they come up and they say that they've been mistreated, or they've been raped, or they've been abused, and now this police officer now all of a sudden says, oh, that's your lifestyle. To hell with that. We need to now stand up. Those of you that are allies, don't hide. If you're an ally, come out front and center like I did. Put it on your Facebook. I don't care what anybody says on my Facebook. I am an ally. And I will stand front and center with other people that are in the Christian community or religion. How dare you, Teresa? Look at what the Lord says. Well, you know what the greatest commandment is, people? It says to love thy neighbor. Hallelujah. Give it up for Teresa. At this time, this next
speaker is someone I've known for many years. We've grown up together. She is my sister, my best friend. She is my boss. She means business, and I am so proud of you and what you've become and the woman you are today. Give a round of applause for Regina Livingston, the owner and founder of Unspoken Treasure Society. Applause!
Hello, everyone. I'm so humbled for this crowd. Sometimes the effective thing, it doesn't take a huge crowd. The people that are supposed to be here are the people that are here. And you are the people that can take this message out and let them know about us. Let them know the things that you've learned today. We are a peaceful people. We are not out here to compete against another race, sex, or creed. We're here to just be who we are, unapologetically. We're not fooling anyone, because what do we get out of fooling anyone? There is nothing in it for us. We don't get paid to fool people. We simply want to exist. That's it. We bleed like every race. And we deserve to live. We deserve to walk right beside you all. And I prefer us walk hand in hand, because we love our people. When I'm watching the news and I hear somebody was murdered, I don't worry about what color they were. It hurts me for my fellow human to be murdered. So when you see a trans woman of color flash across the news, you should respond to that the same as you respond to your own being murdered. It's the same. We're all human. I thank you, each and every one of you, for finding it not robbery to be here tonight. I thank you for each of the speakers that found it not robbery to be on time and to deliver these heartfelt messages that have went out tonight. I am here. This is where I was born and raised. I left and I was gone for about 15 years. And when I came back, I just noticed there was so much division. There was so much division. There was so many people walking around lost. And so when I attempted to get help for myself, I couldn't find it. So at that moment, I realized I needed to be the help. I needed to be the change that I wanted to see. And so therefore, that is when Unspoken Treasure was born. We have came a mighty, mighty long way. And it's through you and through the members and through the board members and the officers that are here helping us push forward every single day. I want to thank the Pride Center for coming at such short notice to assist us. I thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank the Dream Defenders for coming in at the last minute, asking whatever we needed. They were here for whatever we needed. And our security group, Pete, I don't know the exact name. What's the name? Say it again. Socialist Alternative, which is also our security. They've been amazing. They've been amazing. They've watched out, and we are so appreciative of them. I just want you to take some time to chant one more time for me. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Trans Lives Matter! Trans Lives Matter! Trans Lives Matter! Y'all, the master of ceremony has finally arrived. So without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Tyree Williams.
Hello. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Sorry I'm late, everyone. My apologies. I will start over, but make sure I'll be here. First of all, thank you all for being out here. I know it's hot. I know it's a pandemic, but we gotta be out here. We gotta say something. We gotta make sure that our voices are definitely heard. Most importantly, this is, I think, a very important moment, not just for trans individuals, but especially for Black trans. When I say that, I mean Black trans women and especially Black trans men and Black trans masters. One thing that we don't talk about and we don't address are the intersections when it comes down to the levels of being Black and trans. And until we acknowledge that, until we realize that, we won't get in. So one of the things that we definitely want to make sure we want to talk about is acknowledge the fact that Black trans lives matter. When we talk about all trans lives matter, you're erasing the Blackness. So stop saying all trans lives matter. Black trans lives matter, and that's period. And when you talk about it, don't just talk about it, mean it. Look it up. Define. How can you help? It's not just about Facebook messages anymore. It's not just about social media. It's about being out here right now. It's about making a statement, using your power to make sure that you can uplift the next. If you have that privilege, use your privilege. If you have that, we don't have it. So therefore, you need to use your privilege to make sure that the next is heard. Not just saying that, oh, I hear you, how can I support by funding? Funding is no longer accessible. We can speak for ourselves, we can motivate for ourselves, we can advocate for ourselves. All thing we need to do is make sure that you make sure that we have a space at the table. If it's not a space at the table, we will create a table. And if you have the privilege to create that table, then that's what you need to do. Stop saying that I don't know how and make a way. We made a way for everything else, but let's make a way for this. Our Black trans women are dying. We don't, everyone talks about, well, this one has died, this next one has died. There's starting to be a list. We're not talking about the families that are affected by it. We're not talking about the cold cases that are still unmurdered. We need to talk about these things. And again, until you use your privilege to acknowledge that, we will not be free. When you talk about transness, stop acknowledging that it's just trans women. Black trans men are here. Non-binary are here. They are all here. They all exist. The only thing about it is, you only see one. That's all that you see from your eyes is optics. Go outside of your mind. Go outside the optics and think deeper into it. You probably walk by plenty of trans men who haven't even realized it. But we are here. We're standing and we're strong. But at the same time, we can't do it by ourselves. Because the thing about it is we're still Black men. We're still men and that privilege still stands. So to a certain extent, we need you to use your privilege to make sure that our voices are uplifted. And don't forget our non-binary. I'm tired of people forgetting my non-binary for me. Because just as bad as my trans brothers, my trans masculine siblings don't have a voice, my non-binary trying to figure out where they even fit in. They didn't ask to come here. They didn't ask to be under no umbrella. They didn't ask to be put in a box. So stop putting them in a box and stop negating them. They're here. They're people. So last thing I want to say is that, again, if you have the privilege, use your privilege. Don't use your voice anymore. It no longer works. We tired of hearing you talk. It's about walking the walk. Okay? Again, I'm sorry that I'm late. I'm glad everybody came out here, and I'm glad we're all going to make a difference. Thank y'all, Smoking Treasure. Thank y'all, everyone who's been out here. And I'm going to pass the mic on.
Pete! Pete! I apologize.
I'll get it up. We're waiting on our next speaker, and which will be our last speaker. So let's play a little music and turn up for a little minute.
It's DJ Mellow, baby.
Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo para darle alegría y cosa buena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena.
Hey, Macarena. Hey, put the chopper on and turn it to a sprinter. Just on my dope, so them give me 1 minute. Hey, Macarena. Hey, Macarena. Put the chopper on and turn it to a sprinter. Just on my dope, so them give me 1 minute. Hey, Macarena.
Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo para darle alegría y cosa buena. Dale a tu cuerpo alegría Macarena.
Low bass, fat, baby, tap in. Tap in. Diamonds dancing on your neck, better tap in. Tap in. Getting money, getting rich, baby, tap in. Tap in. MOB, I see game, better tap in. Tap in. Wrist on glitter, waist on thinner. I'ma show you how to bag an 8-figure. Face on satin, pockets on jigger. You better get the card and make it swipe like Tinder. Private pillow in the far shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, the woman of the hour, Miss Didi Waters.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Can you all hear me? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you all so very much for being here. So, just because I have the opportunity to be able to take up space, I just ask that you all will give me the privilege of just taking a couple of seconds of your time, right? Because we still have breath and others cannot breathe right now, right? So, if you don't mind with me, however it is that you're able to breathe, whether or not that's deep breaths, short breaths, however that may be, but if you don't mind, on 3, I would like that you inhale and then you exhale, however you feel. And we're going to do that 3 times. Is that okay? And for those of us that don't know how to count, it don't matter how many times you do it, just as long as we're doing it, okay? So on 3, 1, 2, 3, inhale.
Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now acknowledge yourself.
Because what you just did was a gift and a privilege. See, what we don't remember a lot of times is that whenever we're breathing, we're still sharing the air that breathes and went through our ancestors, right? So each and every time we take in a deep breath, when we're in spaces like this, we are doing nothing but acknowledging our ancestors, and we are breathing. We are reminding ourselves that we exist. So just as though whenever they went and they fought those fights to make sure that we had certain rights, we exist. See, there are times like these whenever we gather because we're here because we have to say their name. Sometimes we say his name, sometimes we say her name, and sometimes we have to say their name. But see, whenever we're gathered like this and we're able to do the simplest thing as breathing, we are reminded how important we are. So for those of us that believe in God, God stopped time for little old me to be able to give me the breath of life. See, for those of us that believe in the universe decided to make the grass just a little bit greener on the other side for people like me and you. You know, so we have to be reminded of the privileges of which we have, which is to really exist and to live our whole, authentic self. So see, when we're sitting out here and we're gathering like this serves as a reminder. See, this serves as a reminder that I too still can breathe and others cannot breathe anymore. So I ask that you remember that the next time that we have to gather to say someone's name, because it could be your name, right? So see, I have this quote that says that I am she and she was me. The most important part is about the was. Because anything that can happen to her can happen to me. Anything that can happen to me can happen to you. And if they erase that for me, they'll erase that for you.
To my black sisters. See, the one thing that I want you to remember
Is that the reason why we're screaming out about black trans women being murdered is because black cis women is being murdered too. And baby, you being murdered by the same people who murdered me. So
see, what we have to do is
we have to acknowledge the fact. See, a lot of times people want to holler about people being fooled, but whenever my brothers are being murdered, when my sisters are being murdered, when our erasure that takes place.
It's really, really hurtful because guess what? That erasure,
We sit here, we looking at what, 21, 22 names right now? 21, 22 names.
but see what we forget.
What we forget about is the mere fact that we don't even know about some of the people who got misgendered, who didn't use the right pronouns, who didn't use their right name. See, we forget about that part, right? But then be mindful of something. We're in what? July? We're in July. How far away is December? Look at the number right now where we are. See, a lot of times we think that this stuff ain't happen to us, but when you look at these people that have been murdered, a lot of them look just like us. So the reality is, again, whenever I say that I am she and she was me, anything that can happen to you can happen to you. Whenever they take my rights away as a black trans woman, they taking your rights too. See, don't think that they're just coming from me and forgetting about you. See, you got to remember that. So again, I want you all to leave with this. See, they talk about lighting candles, right? And see, there's power in everything that you do because you are absolutely phenomenal, right? So everything that you do, there's power. So when we talk about lighting candles, right? When we think about things like that, right? What we're supposed to do is we're supposed to acknowledge the power of which we have, which is to simply reignite our flame. See, sometimes we light these candles with the mindset of just because we lost somebody, but see, what we are forgetting is that we gained somebody. See, the only way that you can have everlasting life is whenever you die from this place, right? So see, the next time that you light a candle, I extend this offering to you. Be mindful of what you're doing when you light it because it means so much to that light should live in you. So even if that candle goes out, even when those days start to get really, really hard, everything just seems like it's just never going to end, or that you want it to end, remember the power of which you have. Grab you a pair of matches, grab you a lighter, spark that flame and reignite your flame and be mindful of why you're doing it. See, y'all can say names of people who have been murdered because you have the ability to be able to say their name. But they can't say their names anymore. So we must be mindful. The reason why we fight this fight is because we all deserve the right to simply exist and to breathe.
So,
again, I thank you all for the opportunity to just be able to stand before you. I thank you all for doing something that means so much to me. Because I was so important that because I believe in God, that God stopped time to breathe that little bit of breath into me, right? And guess what you all did? Whenever we stopped and we breathed, you all anointed me. You all blessed me because you shared breath. You shared air with me. See, you're just as important as this tree that's out here. You're just as important as the leaves that are there because they make sure that that oxygen that we are able to breathe is clean and pure for little old me. So thank you. See, thank you. See, as I look at it, you all, I keep going to have to be reminded of the reflection of which is me. See,
I murder someone.
looks just like me. But what would you do? Oh, yeah, we're going to gather, we're going to say their names, but then what happens? See, we have to figure out a way to make this change. And the easiest way is to continue to breathe. So I offer a little bit of breath to you on this day. And I thank you all so very much for being here. I thank you so very much for having me. Thank you all. One last time, on the count of three, we're going to inhale and we're going to exhale. So whenever we're inhaling this time, I want you to just breathe in all of the shit. Excuse my language. I just want you to breathe it all in. And the reason why I want you to breathe it all in is because I want to just show you the ability and the power of what you have to just simply exhale and let it all out. So on three, we're going to breathe it in on 1, 2, 3.
Now let that shit out. Ashe.
And so it is. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring back Dr. Larry Green, PhD, and he is going to read the proclamation signed by
What's up with the light?
Fluff, is it out?
further ado, Mr. Larry Green.
It serves to raise awareness of hate crimes against transgender people of color. Hey.
Eagles fight.
Whereas Black Lives Trans Inclusive Movement serves to raise awareness of hate crimes against transgender people of color, and whereas the Black Lives Matter Trans Inclusive Movement provides an opportunity for everyone to be made aware that transgender women of color are targets of transphobic and racial discrimination and violence at an alarming rate, and whereas the Black Lives Matter Trans Inclusive Movement provides an opportunity for everyone to stand in solidarity with trans women of color, and whereas this event is presented by the Unspoken Treasure Society, and whereas on July 20th, 2020, we honor Tony McDade, a transgender man who was killed May 27, 2020, after interaction with the Tallahassee Police Department, and whereas, as a city that respects and works to uphold equality, it is important that we break down the walls of transphobic and racial discrimination to believe that love is stronger than hate and hope is more powerful than insult or injury. Now therefore I, Lawrence Ho, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Gainesville, do hereby proclaim July 20th, 2020 as the Black Lives Matter Trans Inclusive Movement Day in the city of Gainesville. And invite all our citizens to join me in recognizing and standing in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter Trans Inclusive Movement. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cross to be affixed to the official seal of the city of Gainesville, Florida, the first day of July, AD 2020.
Thank you. Now I just want you all to give yourselves a round of applause. Now that was weak. Come on now, y'all can do better than that. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. Put your heart into it. Let's give us a round of applause. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Trans lives matter. Trans men matter. Trans women matter. We all matter. I thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate each and every one of you. Any of you looking to contact Unspoken Treasure, you can go on my website. Our website is www.unspokensociety.org. Or we're on 1001 Northeast 16th Avenue, Suite 8, Gainesville, Florida 32601. Drop in, call me, pay us a visit. We're here. We're in the community. We're here to support. We're going to be doing HIV testing. We're going to be doing housing referrals. We're going to be doing GED. We're going to be doing, it's so much. Just go on the website or call. We're going to be changing the magnitude of what's going on in my community. And I hope that you all that are here tonight have become our allies and will support this movement of what we have going on. Thank you so much. And I hope to see each and every one of you next year at this same time. But I hope to actually see you sooner than that. You have our information. Look us up. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much.